Dinios. That was where I heard that one. Zelda says we need to sack Amorim. Wow, straight up, not the guy. Want to sack him? I asked the community this morning. I don't know if I just thought I didn't even do a poll because I was like, I don't even want a poll for this, man. I just thought let me just ask the question in the community to see with the yeses and the nos. And if I did do a poll, I reckon it would have been like 60-40.
How dare you, Fleck? How dare you use your channel to run an agenda? How dare you, nasty word?
How dare you use it as a chance to take everybody's point of view?
Flex, I'm unsubscribing. And I'm not coming back until your next stream.
People are saying we're blindly backing another manager, and we're gonna be it's feeling Ten Hagish.
Well, I said that this is what we got in the argument about yesterday, wasn't it? Over that super chat when someone put a super chat and said Amorim coached a 3-0 game and the players didn't execute. And I said we just have to be very careful going down that route again because we heard that a lot under Ten Hag, didn't we? We lost today, but it wasn't Ten Hag's fault. His game plan was perfect, but the players couldn't execute it. And
who said that last
time? Honestly, the amount of times we heard that, and it is just, I see similar mistakes there from an expectation point of view from the fans, and we just have to acknowledge that it's never on one particular party. It's not all on the coach, but it's also not all on the players. There has to be a level of percentage of accountability all around. You cannot be the manager, head coach of Manchester United, lose games, and then basically them go, that's entirely not your fault, because that's how we end up with the weird, like when we won the FA Cup and Ten Hag stayed, we won kind of stuff, when I don't feel much like a winner at the moment, do you? So we didn't win. You know what I mean? We have to have that level of accountability, you know? And
don't you think we put like the managers on a pedestal too much as United fans because of Sir Alex, right?
Well, and also I think it's the antithesis of Player FC, right? We've lived Player FC for a decade. Now we don't like Player FC. So we've gone so far in the opposite direction where we become Manager FC and we idolize and we sort of go, well, they can do no wrong. Whereas, of course, they're going to do wrong. And it's okay to point out when they do wrong. And it's also okay to point out when they do right. That's facts of life, you know. So, but also when we do criticize the manager, you don't have to get your back up and get all defensive and be like, no, you can't say that about the manager. Of course you can. Of course you can say they make mistakes.
The only thing with backing a manager is the slip slide of when you don't, and then how a player is viewed. I'll never forget the Bruno slip slide. It was one of the most interesting ones where everyone cussed him, and said he's just Penandes, this, that, and the other. And it just stuck. And then now he's just rubbish. You know, now people are kind of seeing the value. It's almost like you have to fight back diligently or things just stick. Like today I was on a show, and I was listening to them say, Anthony's a good player. Man United are just rubbish. Do you know what they were saying about Anthony?
What, they said that on your channel?
I was on the Filthy Fellas, bro. I was on the Filthy Fellas, bro.
Oh, they would, Filthy, they would have been gunning Anthony.
Bro, when I said, I goes, this is what happens, though. This is what happened. Like, you will do these things, and if not pushback, if the pushback's not good enough, it sticks, and it's harder one to get rid of. You know, so we have to be.
KG. That's with Opsta. I'm talking within the Man United fan base.
I think some of it comes from us. Some of it comes from us. Like I believe Alejandro Garnacho has more nicknames from Man United fans than from Ops. Personally, you know what I mean? Like we
gotta watch him every week. You know?
A lot of it is us facing. Is us facing. You know, so we just have to like. There's something that has to be done there, you know, in that journey and stuff. So some people want to back the manager because the other side gets so loud, and they almost become the majority, especially in the loss. You saw how the chat changed when we was about to get crushed out by Leon. Oh my goodness! And you look at it and you think, bro, look at the chat right now. Then it flips, and all of a sudden it's okay again.
I think my point is you can back the manager whilst also being honest about the manager. You don't have to get into that territory where you just do not want to have the conversation of, did he make a mistake by not doing this today? Or was the setup maybe, should he be doing that a little bit better? Or are we really improving as much as maybe you thought we were going to be improving? We should be able to have that conversation while also going, I don't want him to lose his job. It's kind of mad actually that when you have a critical conversation of someone,
is there a middle ground with Man United?
You have to preface it by saying, I don't want them to leave or lose their job.
Made a good point too on that criticism though, because he said, look, what options? Like I'll give that exact example because you're talking about the Lyon game at like 90 minutes when I was watching along that one, my chat was exploding 2-2. Amorim, you're shit. Amorim, get out of here, you fraud. And I'm saying, hold on a second. Like, here's the question though, because someone kept bringing it up. They said he's picking the players. He's doing this. Well, and I asked him, who could he have picked? Who else could he have picked in his game? Who else could he have picked? Literally, who else could he pick? And the suggestions by India, how the fuck's that gonna? I'm sorry. How's that gonna make a difference? You know. Kukonki never played, 16 years old. And I'm like, and in that same person, that was their suggestions. And I'm thinking, the problem is it's not specific. Like the specifics of the criticism need to be there, not this general, you know, we get into so much of like Twitter type of, you know, debate about things where there's no specifics.
There's that thing of him playing 7 defensive players, and that's he just plays defensive. And that is something that was said before. And it's kind of rumbled on. And now it's just the facts. But then he asked the people, well, them 7 defensive players, what attacking players should he play? Absolutely silent.
It is also funny when they say, like, we've got better defensively. And you go, well, if we're playing that many defensive players, we probably should get better defensively, shouldn't we?
I hear that.
Then you talk about the marginal gains. You go, like, this is what we were talking about yesterday. We face less... We face less. Let me finish, Kate. We have less shots. We face less shots, but we concede a similar amount of goals. So, what is your judgment on getting better defensively?
I hear you when you say that. But then the only issue is when we talk about like errors, massive errors, blunders leading to goals, we can't deny our goalkeeper's been on a mad thing this year. Like we cannot deny that. We cannot deny that we chance-wise we've created as many. What's that Nottingham Forest stat? Or we created as many as Nottingham Forest, and we just not scored close to this. You know what I mean?
Although,
so it's that
the answer to that is that's still not loads, by the way, because Forest are actually shockingly low in chance creation. For
still, Forest have done their job. In the attacking element.
Doesn't mean you get a blank slate of everything. Then if we lose, it doesn't matter because we don't have a striker, and that's those kind of. Again, I think
I don't know how I would change. I don't know what you would.
You know how?
Like,
I'll show you how.
That's the coach's job. That's the coach's job to find out solutions.
This is what I'm talking about. The coach's job. I saw a stat today that just stuck out to me. It's not even a Man United stat. It's a Wolves stat. I went raw. Here's a stat for you. Under Gary O'Neill, 16 Premier League games. They scored 24 goals in 16 matches. They conceded 40. Versus Pereira, who's coming, he's played 17 league games. He scored exactly the same amount of goals, 24. The same as Gary O'Neill in the same period, 16/17 games, right? They both scored 24 goals. But the reason why they got more points, which was 9 versus 29 points respectively, was because Pereira conceded only 21 goals instead of 40 in the same time frame. So the fact that Wolves didn't start scoring more goals. There's a perception that they got so much better. Strand Larsen's doing all this stuff. Cunha, this, that, and the other. Bella got whatever in the 10. Oh, yeah, great. They've scored exactly the same amount of goals in this resurgence where we're saying, how can Vitor Pereira come here and do amazing? In this same resurgence, they've scored the same goals in 16 games with Gary O'Neill as they did with 16/17 games with Vitor Pereira. But they conceded half the amount of goals. And their XG, though, even though they scored the same amount of goals, if you're into XG, went up from 17 to 21. Like, so it proves that we can't score, but if the defense was as good as we said it was, or it doesn't concede as much, then you could just cut down the amount you concede and nick games. But then
here's a crazy one for that stat. Let me just look. Wolves in that same exact stretch, because I was just looking at the numbers. It's actually crazy how much it matches. 19 expected goals for, 23.7 expected goals against. You know what ours are in that time? 19 expected goals for, 23.9 expected goals against. But there's a difference of 7 points between the two sides. We conceded 22. They conceded 21. I mean, the numbers aren't even different.
They're
It's
kind
almost
of the same,
like
yeah.
the same, but they've got a lot more points. You know,
So
and
that
it's
would
like,
be what you're saying. That's the clinical nature in that moment
Yeah.
to get that win or to
Yeah.
not lose that football
yeah,
match.
yeah. We're throwing away the close ones, essentially, the ones that they're
Spurs
just
losing
picking a few
already.
points.